Hello and welcome to Everyday Lessons Every Day. I'm David McBee. Based on my book by the same name, this podcast is for those of us who believe in personal growth and want to improve every day. This is episode 16, Your Phone is the Devil. As you know, each week I find a lesson, usually from a self-improvement book, sometimes from a movie, song, or podcast, and I share the lesson with you, along with my spin and stories to drive home the point. What I realized this week is that what I do on this podcast is kinda like what I imagine preachers do every week as they scour the good book for everyday lessons and then write a sermon and try to find real-life examples of the lessons to talk about. Growing up, that was always my favorite part about church. While the ceremony of the whole thing kind of bored me, I always looked forward to the sermon, and it was the part of church that always left me feeling like I could be a better version of myself. I don't know if you go to church or if you think that my comparison is blasphemy, but I'm going to embrace the analogy this week and deliver to you my own sermon. I call it, Your Phone is the Devil. And just for fun, I'm going to do a Southern preacher's voice, if that's okay with you. Good morning, brothers and sisters. Today I'd like to talk to you about your phone. You know what I'm talking about. You're holding on tight to it right now, or it's safe in your pocket or purse. Every one of you has your phone with you and knows exactly where it is at all times. Should it beep or vibrate, you're ready to jump, to take the call, to answer the text, to snap the chat, to Twitter the tweet, and face the book. Your phone is your master, and you are at its beck and call. You know it's true. You know that you couldn't leave the house without it, take a walk without it. Heck, you can't visit the toilet for 5 minutes without your phone. You are addicted, and you know it. Now, don't get me wrong, brothers and sisters. I'm not judging. I'm right there with you. I, too, am weak. The first thing I did this morning was check my phone. Before getting out of bed, before taking in the beauty of the day, I looked at my phone because, like you, I have a problem. We all have a problem. We're so enamored with our phones that we check them a dozen or more times every hour. We touch our phones thousands of times a day. We pay more attention to our phones than our jobs, our pets, our friends, even our loved ones. Don't believe me? When was the last time you checked on your mama? And when was the last time you checked your phone? So why, brothers and sisters, are we so addicted to our phones? Because like other evil things that cause addiction, our phones give us pleasure. It has been scientifically proven, in fact, by countless studies, that phone activity causes the release of dopamine in our brains, making us feel aroused, motivated, and happy. Your article on LinkedIn got 200 views. Dopamine rush! Your puppy video got 73 likes. Dopamine rush! You got 11 new followers on Instagram. Dopamine rush! You earned a new badge on your game. Dopamine rush! You got retweeted. You saw your pictures from a year ago. Your stock went up a point. Your Amazon package has shipped. Your team won the game. There's a sale at Old Navy. Your Grubhub order is on its way. Dopamine, dopamine, dopamine. Of course we're addicted. Every day we hold more computing power in our hands than was used to put a man on the moon. And what do we use it for? To post cat videos and say mean things to people we disagree with on Twitter. Your phone is the devil. Okay. In my attempt to make a point and hopefully make you smile a little, I may have exaggerated just a bit. Your phone doesn't have to control you. Like any other addiction, you can beat it. But David, you say, I can't just give up my phone. I need it for work. I need it to communicate. Heck, I need the GPS to find the closest Chipotle. You're right, of course. Like any technology, your phone can be used for good or evil. I don't harbor the false expectation that you will give up your phone, but I do believe that you can shift the balance. To that end, here are 5 ways to make your phone just a little less evil. Number 1, be careful what you post on social media. Ask yourself 2 questions. 1, does this post bring value to the people who follow me? As in, will it make them smile or think or educate them in some way? I've seen too many posts where people just complain or vent in a way that is hurtful to someone, especially when their post is passive aggressive. Stop it. If you need someone to talk to, call your best friend and get that stuff off your chest. Airing your dirty laundry on social media just brings others down. The second question is this: would I be proud of this post if my grandmother saw it? Or better yet, if my grandkids saw it? And if you don't have grandkids, imagine them 20 years from now doing some kind of ancestry report for class and going back to look at your social media to find out what kind of a person you were when you were younger. That'll sure make you think about what you post, won't it? The next thing I want to ask of you is this: stop being so mean on social media. Even if you totally disagree with someone, consider how your comment will be taken. More often than not, you're not going to change someone's mind with a comment. Instead, you'll just stir things up. If you want to make real change, take the person to lunch and listen to their point of view, then have a conversation about why you disagree. But until someone feels heard, they themselves will not be in a position to hear. Those aggressive comments are nothing but divisive. Number 3, and this comes from the brilliant Mel Robbins, author of the 5-second rule. She recommends that you do not go to bed with your phone next to you. Her logic is that you should be in control of what goes in your mind right before falling asleep, and that you should have some time to think about what's important to you each morning before taking in the news or other external stimulus that may take your day in a direction other than the one that is best for you. She says to put the phone on the dresser across the room or even in another room. And when you do that, you go to sleep thinking about things that are important to you. And when you wake up, you can focus on your goals instead of what the rest of the world has going on. Number 4, turn off message notifications, or at least consider pausing them. Have you ever sat down to dinner with your family or wanted to relax on your patio after a long day, only to have some bad news suddenly thrust upon you out of nowhere? Maybe it's a work email or a rude comment on one of your social media posts. Maybe it's tragic news about a friend. Yes, you have to deal with all of those things, but make sure that happens on your terms and not letting the phone decide when you should be interrupted and have your dinner ruined. If you are ever to take a break from your phone, turning off notifications is an absolute must. And number 5, please stop looking at your phone in the middle of conversations. Giving someone your full attention when they are talking is one of the nicest, kindest things that you can do as a human being. It makes others feel loved when you do this. So when you look down at your phone while a person is talking to you, it's just painfully rude and hurtful. So, those are the things not to do. Before I let you go, though, I want to share a couple of very cool tips that I learned from Bobby Bones, radio host and author of the book Fail Until You Don't, on ways to use your phone for good. You see, Bobby understands how often we look at our phones, so he leverages that by turning his home screen into kind of a place for reminders or a vision board. He will place words or pictures on the screen that remind him of a task he has to accomplish or a goal he wants to achieve. He says that seeing that goal several times a day is a good reminder and motivator. As you guys know, I often write notes to myself on my wrist, notes about everyday lessons. The notes remind me of what's important that day. Well, Bobby may be onto something here because we probably look at our phones more often than our wrists, and you don't get smeared Sharpie on your clothes. Another of Bobby's recommendations is to use an app called Streaks. Basically, you put all of your small daily habits into the app, And when you do them, you get to mark them off. The Streaks app keeps track of how many days in a row you accomplish the task. It rewards you with that same dopamine hit that you crave for doing the simple things like flossing, working out, doing your chores, or reading from a good book every day. There are actually a lot of ways that your phone can be used for good. Maybe you use it to keep track of your workouts and your health. Maybe you count calories or use the reminders to keep track of birthdays. Maybe you read or listen to audiobooks on your phone. Maybe you listen to the Everyday Lessons Everyday podcast on it. At the end of the day, your phone isn't really the devil, but how you use it can impact you either in a positive way or a negative one. That's up to you. And so I challenge you. Write, "My phone is the devil" on your wrist. Nope, you know what? Actually, don't. This week, I want you to change your phone wallpaper to remind you of something that's important to you. It can be a personal change you want to make, a goal, or even a dream you want to accomplish. Is it a healthier version of you? Maybe you take a picture from the past and post that on your wallpaper so you can remember what you looked like when you were 10 pounds lighter. Is it your dream car? Is it a new Jeep or a Ferrari or a Corvette? Is it a vacation you want to take with your family? Maybe it's just a heart to remind you to be more loving. Maybe it's a peace symbol or a dove to remind you to be more peaceful. Whatever it is, make your wallpaper something that will inspire you, something that's meaningful to you and will motivate you. In fact, this week I'm going to ask another special favor of you. Once you change your wallpaper, would you tweet it or put it on Instagram or put it out there in the social media universe and tag it with the hashtag #EverydayLessonsEveryday? Or send it to me. I'd love to see what you put on your phone screen. Let me know what happens when you implement this lesson. I'll see you next time. Now go out there and do something awesome.